Have you been deactivated and don't know what to do? In this video, I'm going to be talking about 3 key tips of exactly what you should do if you get deactivated from Lyft or Uber. Stay tuned. Hi guys, I'm DriverLadyPro because I can drive like a boss, but I try to stay classy like a lady. So if you're new to this channel, please hit that subscribe button and the little bell so you can get more content just like this. And if you are a returning buddy, give me a like. So on this channel, I cover both delivery and rideshare topics. Right now, I'm currently, I do Uber, Uber Eats, and Lyft, and I do Instacart. I upload a video every Wednesday, 9:30 p.m. Central Time, and every Sunday, 8:30 p.m. Central Time. We have a podcast called Rideshare Unite, Stop the Abuse, and the second half is called Ask the Experts. And the Rideshare Unite is addressing the abuses that happen in the ride-sharing industry. And if you have a question for our experts on the panel, then please hit up my description below. There's a lot of helpful information in the description below, folks. So if you want me to talk about it on air, let me know. If not, you can tell me you don't want me and I won't say it on air either. Thanks. Okay, guys. So you have gotten deactivated. The information that I have collected, I talked to a lawyer about. I am a part of Chicago Rideshare Advocates, and they are partnered up with Legal Rideshare. And I spoke with a lawyer that talked to me about this particular subject and gave me pointers. And the very first thing he said before we even get started is prevention is key. Not to have to get into this situation. So it's super important that you watch my video that I did last week about 3 key tips to prevent from being deactivated so that you don't have to get in this situation. But one thing I did mention in that video is have a dash cam. Have a dash cam. If you do not have a dash cam, I'm going to put one in the description below. And if you have any questions, my email address is down there also. So let's get this started. The first thing you do is you end up trying to log into your app, and you log into your app and you can't log in. So you go to your email and you open your email, and the email says something like you were driving intoxicated, or it says you were saying racial slurs. If the case is that you were driving intoxicated, supposedly, that the second one I'm going to talk about that. But the very first thing you need to do is take like your dash cam footage, collect your evidence. Dash cam footage. You need to write down times, dates, try to remember exact times. If it's not to the very minute, that's all right. But if it's at 10:15 at night or 10:25 at night or something, try to get it as close as you possibly can. Because all that Uber has is, oh, some guy over here said this. That's all they're going to have. And what you're going to have is at this date and time, and that sounds more credible. So very important thing, when you're doing legal documentation, it's very important. Make sure you write dates, times, and exactly what happened, and try to make it as factual as possible, because we are talking about just the facts, ma'am. If you get all this, oh, and she said, he said, and talk about your children or anything else, that they're just not even going to listen to you. So the most important thing is write this stuff down, collect your evidence, write it down, get your dash cam footage, save. It's a good idea to save your dash cam footage every night so that when you wake up the next day or 2 days later and you see that you've been deactivated, you have that and you have it gone over it, because mine only saves 1 day worth, and then when I start working the next day, it's gone. So that is a key thing. Make sure you have all this and do all this prevention. So once you've done all this stuff, you can go to them with your evidence and present your evidence. So let's talk about what happens if you get deactivated for drunk driving or intoxicated driving. Maybe they say you've been smoking marijuana, or they say you've been drunk. The very first thing you should do, and I've talked to other people that have done this exact same thing, is go straight to the police department. Go in there, say, I've been told that I'm an Uber driver. I've been told that I'm driving intoxicated. I want you to give me a breathalyzer test right now. The breathalyzer test will be free. But if you also want to go further, because this might be if you've smoked marijuana, they're saying you've smoked marijuana, you should go even further. I personally would, and pay the extra amount and take the P test to prove that there is nothing in your system, and they can't come back and change their story. This is one thing that I need to note. When you get deactivated, it's going to take them at least a week to figure all this stuff out. So it's important to listen to the video I did before where I said, make sure you apply to different apps, such as Grubhub, DoorDash, other apps, so that you can continue working, doing other things while you are down. So prevention is the key here, guys. So it is also important to note, it is very important that you do have dash cam footage and keep your dash cam footage. But I have heard through the grapevine that sometimes Uber and Lyft do not take the dash cam footage. But I have seen people, when they denied the dash cam footage, they took their dash cam footage to the social media, forcing Uber and Lyft to do something about it. Uber and Lyft may or may not take your dash cam footage, but you can also use it in arbitration. So that brings... Okay, so you've collected your evidence. You've done everything you possibly can, and you're still hitting a brick wall. So this brings me to number 3. Your last course of action is to file for arbitration. It is very important that you take this extra step if you've hit this brick wall, because you need to let Uber and Lyft know that you are not going to take any crap. And it actually hurts their company to have to go through arbitration. It costs them $1,500 to go through arbitration, and it only costs you $40 to file and probably $100 to get a process server if you don't have somebody. But personally, I would get a process server because they know how to do all the paperwork. They know how to do it right. But if you are so dirt poor and you only got the $40 or whatever it costs, then I'm going to tell you how to do this. You go inside the terms of service. And inside the terms of service, it says the address and everything you need to know how to file for arbitration. And you file for arbitration in your own city and state. You do not go to San Francisco and file for arbitration. But recently, Uber has come under the gun for not being way backed up on these arbitrations. And I think they thought, well, these people aren't going to file for arbitration. And they also thought they just let it go because they had to pay the $1,500, and when people were constantly filing for these arbitrations, they just let it go, and there was tons of backed up arbitration files, and eventually the people in California had to bring Uber and Lyft to court for these backed up arbitrations. So it is important to know, if you do go this route, it may take a while, and I wouldn't put your eggs all in one basket. I've already told you, do something else like DoorDash, Grubhub, and make sure you get that, because you have to wait for a couple weeks for your background check to go through anyway. So make sure you do that now before you do anything, okay? But you've said, okay, I'm going to arbitration because I have a solid case here. And now I talked to the lawyer, and he did say that you can go to a lawyer, and it's like an employment lawyer, and you would have to look for an employment lawyer near your area. And usually they take it on contingency. Maybe you will get some money for it, but they said it's really difficult. He said it's really difficult to find a lawyer to do this particular thing because you're an independent contractor, you're not an employee. And generally those lawyers are for employees, but they may be able to help you out. It's important at least to try and go down and talk to a lawyer, because you are going to have to present your case, and they're going to have an actual lawyer in the arbitration, and you are not. So it's important to try to get some representation. But if you have all your facts and your ducks in a row, you may have a good claim. And a lot of times when judges know you don't have a lawyer, they can take that into account. They do take that into account. So it's important that you do take this final step if you've gotten to it, because you could get your job back, but it is important for you to realize that you may not get your job back, and you may just get a cash settlement, depending on how the arbitration goes. But it is not really like a judge you go see. It's like kind of like a professional counseling thing. So but in order for them to set that all up, it costs them a lot of money, and it's going to put it to them, look, you can't just screw me over and not give me a job and just willy-nilly take and if enough people keep doing this, they will change their tune, maybe. That's all I have for today, but make sure you check the description below. If you need my email or anything, it's in the description below. And as always, stay safe out there, but hustle hard and hustle smart. And if you don't hustle smart, take your broke ass home. DriverLadyPro out. Hasta la vista, baby.